Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Greater Life, Greater Impact. Gosh, I'm so excited to see you all on here. We've got people pouring in, so that's awesome. I typed a couple things into the chat box for you. If you're new to these weekly free classes every Tuesday, we go live in here every Tuesday talking about things that relate to spiritual awakening, quantum healing, personal and spiritual transformation and growth, how to develop into a deeper level of your being, how to access those deeper levels of your being, because that's important. Could there be a more important work to do than to come to know yourself in every way that you possibly could? I don't think there is, honestly. I just don't think there's more important work than this to do, because I think that when you come to know the true nature of who you really are as a spiritual being, then you come to know the nature of God, and vice versa. As you come to know the nature of God, you also come to know who you are as a human being. So this is something I absolutely have a passion for. Those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Janet. I'm a quantum healing practitioner, and I call myself a soul self-restoration coach. What I do is I help take people to the uncharted waters of who they really are, for healing, for transformation, for spiritual growth and spiritual awakening, so that they can live a better version of their lives and so that they can upgrade this planet while they're doing it. Today is kind of an awesome and exciting topic. It's something that we talk about pretty frequently in here, but I really want to focus on the Great Awakening. So the title for today's class is How You Can Make a Greater Impact as a Forerunner in the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is a period of time on the earth that has been prophesied for a millennia, for many, many generations, if not centuries, by lots and lots of different cultures and religions and faiths and gurus on the planet. The Great Awakening is a phase, it's a time period on the earth where it has been predicted that there would be this massive shift take place at the end of the lifespan of the earth, that towards this end time period, it would be an ending of the old and a beginning of the new, that all of the old paradigms and old beliefs and old structures and systems of the planet would die off and pass away, and the new would be reborn, rebirthed, and come into, and it would come through a great awakening. That the people who have been manipulated on the earth for many centuries through mind control, through the constructs of society, the constructs of religion, the constructs of mind control, programming, any of those things would begin to die off as new awarenesses would be brought into the light, and it literally would be like a massive human awakening where people would come out of slumber and grow into the truth of what is real and who they really are. And so this is my passion, this is my purpose as I move about in my life's journey on my soul path, is to help people to wake up to who they truly are. This isn't about religion. It isn't about governments. It isn't about whose side you're on or how you were raised or anything like that. It is about moving away from an authoritarian type of human structure on the planet. We've always been under an authoritarian type of rule. And as we move into the new age of the Aquarius, it's all about autonomy and solidarity and singularity, but also, aside from that, it's about unity. It's about human beings being autonomous but connected through love, through oneness, not necessarily needing to be forced, manipulated, or controlled, or gaslit, or programmed or conditioned to be a certain way, but to just open up and awaken to the way that they are, to the way that already is. So that's what I think of when I think about the Great Awakening. Many people in religious culture might use the terms telestial world is dying off so that a terrestrial and a celestial world can be birthed. And so anything in this world that is old, outdated, fallen, telestial, or basically I think of the telestial world is like a hell place. So anything in this world that is familiar to you, is comfortable to you, that you're clinging to, and if that part of the world is striving to pass away so that a new awakening, a new system can be birthed, then you're going to get wrecked. You're going to go down with that ship if you're still clinging to the old. And so this is a time period on the earth where it's time to let go of the old ways of thinking, the old ways of being conditioned or programmed into who you see as the authority in your life. Do you see government leaders or religious leaders or economic leaders of the planet as the authority to listen to? Do you see friends, family, people that you look up to as the authority, your parents, whoever it might be? So who is the authority in your life? Is it you? Is it God? Because that's where that's where the human race is going. And so if you don't have that, if you don't have a solid place to stand as an autonomous and sovereign being on this planet, when the turmoil starts to come and old things start to crumble and deteriorate and pass away and fall down, those old systems, you're going to fall down with them. One of my favorite ways to depict this is like the surfer. A surfer does not like a peaceful, calm ocean because you can't surf on it. You're just gonna sit there, and there will be no momentum. There will be no flow. There will be no movement in just a clear glass-like ocean. Surfers love, the bigger the torment, the bigger the turmoil, the bigger the momentum and movement of the ocean, as scary as that might be to swim in, surfers love it. Because what they do is they get ahead of the turmoil of the cresting of these big giant waves that crash in onto themselves. I mean, if you were not in the right place, positioned inappropriately as the ocean is rolling forward onto itself, you could be pummeled onto the ocean floor and hit against the rocks and the coral and the reef and be killed. Do you see what I'm saying? But a surfer who knows how to intentionally put themselves ahead of the wave just enough so that they can be pushed by that wave and ride the wave into the shore, create momentum and flow. And it's exciting to them. They ride the wave. So that's something that I want to talk about today is as we know that we're coming down the home stretch of I guess the beginning. I feel like it's more, we're beyond the beginning phases of the Great Awakening. I think that we're kind of right in the mix of it all right now. But lots of people are beginning to awaken and shift and change their conscious awareness about things. But in and through it all, there's going to be this great chaos happening, the clash between the old world and the new world that's being birthed, the old world that's collapsing and passing away and falling away, and the new world that is being birthed. So there's this battle between control and freedom, darkness and light, this battle that's going on. Authority versus autonomy. And we're feeling the pushback, we're feeling the resistance, we're feeling all of that agitation and the chaos. And so my goal is to help you as sovereign, individual, autonomous, spiritual beings, the ones that you are. My goal is to help you get ahead of that wave, ahead of the Great Awakening, so that when the chaos really begins to hit, when the transition of the labor pains really comes on, you don't just get pummeled down to the ocean floor, but that you can create momentum with this clash between darkness and light, this falling away of the old world and the rebirth of the new world. Birth is uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. Transitions are messy, they're uncomfortable, they're hard, they're painful and not pleasant. Everybody wants to hold the baby, nobody wants to give birth to it. But that's what's going on this world right now, is that we're entering into a phase of new birth and new life and new beginnings and transformation. And as we come through this transition, so to speak, you're going to look around the world and you're going to go, oh my gosh, what is going on? It's going to be alarming. Unless it isn't. Unless you just notice it as, that's okay, it's just a sign of the process that we're going through. It was Tina, I think, Tina Mitchell, who posted into our Greater Life, Greater Impact Messenger group thread. She posted a video of a woman, I can't remember her name, Pam. Her name's Pam Gregory. She's an astrologer, and she was talking about this solar eclipse that's coming up towards the end of October. I believe it's October the 25th. I wrote it down. 25th, October the 25th at 3:49 a.m. Pacific time. There will be this major solar eclipse take place for our Earth. And she called it, she said, this is going to be an interesting energy that's going to come through in this eclipse. She said most eclipses are like new moon energy. And she said, this is going to be a big one, a big new moon energy. She said, a new intention is going to be born, to be birthed. Eclipses will bring with them on their heels permanent change to the earth, because the energy is so intense. It's so, it is like transition. It is like new birth. It is like new life. And so when we have these eclipses that happen from time to time, it's important to pay attention to the energy leading up to the eclipse, the energy through the eclipse, and the energy after. So if you go back and have a chance to watch that video, I highly recommend it, because she talked quite a bit about where, and I'm not an astrologer by any means, but she talked about where the stars are positioned and where this eclipse is going to come through. She said, gosh, I wish I would have written that part down. I don't think I did. The eclipse energy will come through Scorpio energy, which is unstable geomagnetic energy in the earth. So there, it's going to bring with it instability, unstable energy. And she said this thing too, that the earth is upgrading, it's awakening, the planet is transitioning. And so as that happens, as the earth upgrades and as it receives more light, more truth, more knowledge is coming to the forefront with all of these changes, then it can be uncomfortable, because it can bring with it chaos and change. And people don't like change. It's uncomfortable to us. So she said, watch for these things as we lead up into the month before the eclipse, which is on the 25th. She said, watch for aches and pains in the body. Watch for yourself moving through sickness and illness, because your body is going to need to purge toxicity. So the evidence of change is going to be pains, aches. You're going to see war and contention in maybe globally, but you might see it in economies. You might see it in systems of government and religion and families and relationships, and on many, many, many different levels, the war and contention. So watch for those things. She also says, watch for relationship stuff. When these eclipse portals happen, usually relationship stuff will come to the surface and be pulled out of you. It'll rise to the surface for you to do something with it to create change. Couple other things, and we're going to go into a guided meditation. Let's see here. She also talked about as this eclipse energy comes into our awareness. She said eclipses bring change. They bring permanent change. And so she said, watch for and notice what is coming to the surface in your life. What's coming to the surface mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And when things come to the surface in your life and in your body, in your relationships, in your bank account, in your religion, in your way of life, when things begin to come to the surface, it's usually because there's something that needs to be released or let go of. Your life, your body, your bank account, your relationships, all of the aspects of you in your external world, dark things will be brought into the light. If there are secrets that need to be revealed, and think of this on a personal level, but also on a global level, with economies and religions and corporations and structures and systems, and ways that we have been conditioned or programmed. As secrets come to the surface and are being revealed now in this time period on the earth, just know that that's supposed to be happening. It's supposed to happen that way and unfold that way. And it will happen in every area of your life. So don't be alarmed when things get revealed that don't make sense to you, or things get revealed that need to come to light because they need to be released. The Great Awakening is like a big reset. The Great Awakening is more than just another eclipse energy. The Great Awakening is a phase in the life of planet and Mother Earth, where needed and necessary changes take place. So don't look out into the world and watch the news and go, what is happening? Just know that what is happening is supposed to be happening, and it's for our good because a reset is coming. So today, I thought maybe we could focus a little bit on how can we ride the wave of this turbulence that's coming? How can we ride the wave of there's going to be turbulence in our investments, in our economy, in our religious views, the control, the jealousy, the manipulation of organizations and systems will be brought to light, and also deep personal relationship will be brought to light so that you can choose to let go of the aspects of these things that don't work anymore for us. And then at that point, the choice will be ours to create a new system that does work for us. A new system. Again, we're coming into the age of Aquarius, which is all about moving out of an authoritarian system where people rule you, where leaders are over you, they oversee you, they tell you what to do, they tell you how to think, they tell you how to live your life, they tell you what the rules are. We're moving away from those systems. It's going to be reset. And so in order for you to ride the wave and take full advantage of the chaos that's here. We're already seeing it. If you don't see the chaos on the planet, then you're either blind or you're just not ever going to see it. The chaos is already here. The turbulence, the turmoil, the confusion, the fear, it's already here. And the upheaval, the up-leveling is on us. And so it doesn't take a massive amount of people to make a great change on the planet. It only takes a small handful of awakened people to make great change on the planet, to take full advantage of the chaos that's coming, the turbulence, the big wave that's coming. So rather than that wave coming crashing down on us and forcing us to the bottom of the ocean where we're going to get wrecked, wouldn't you rather get on your surfboard and ride the wave and take others with you? So that's what I want to focus on today, is how can we leverage this turmoil that's coming on the earth? We have to rise above it first. And this is something that I feel so passionately about right now on the planet as we come down this home stretch into transition, into reset, into rebirth. It's not the end of the world. Some people are saying it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's the end of an old era and the beginning of something new, something better. And we get to decide, those of us who are awake on our surfboards, ready for the electricity of the wave to hit us and move us into momentum, we get to decide what the newness is going to look like. Because we're going to be the ones creating the change. So if you remember from the beginning of this class, I named this class how you can make a great impact in the forefront of the Great Awakening. How you can make a greater impact in the forefront of the Great Awakening. This is exciting. Before I get into that, I want each of you to know I feel so passionately about this. My friend Anne Fernandez and I, we've been visiting about this for quite some time, and we've just both been feeling like we need to do a class. We need to do it like an intensive workshop, and there may be other workshops too. I don't know that we're going to be able to squeeze this into just 2 days. It's one of the reasons why Heather says, let's go surfing. Yes, yes. And that's exactly what I want to lead into next, is just talk briefly about what Anne and I have created. We're going to be coming together for 2 days, Thursday and Friday of this week. If you haven't purchased your tickets for that event yet, I highly recommend that you go and get that done. I'm going to type the link to that. Oh, I hope it works. Hold on. I might have to go get a different link. Let me see. We'll just try it and see if that link doesn't work. Let me see if I can just go grab a more pure version of the link. Just a second. What we've done is we've created a 2-day intensive workshop for all y'all to participate in. And I highly recommend that you participate in it, because there's no way that we can get into the meat of all of this just in this class in an hour. We need more time with all of you. On top of that, so we're going to be teaching you guys some tools, some techniques, some ways that you can get ahead of the wave, ride the wave, create a greater impact at the forefront of the Great Awakening. Anne, her specialty is, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit about it, Anne, and then once we're done talking about all of this, I think we're going to go into a meditation to finish out the rest of this class for the morning. But Anne, would you be willing to just share some of the things that you're going to be talking about on Thursday and Friday of this week?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So yes, Janet and I have been talking about this, and it's just this insistent, consistent download that this information has to be shared. And so I had put the word out there, in the universe, just, God, source. It's like there has to be a way that we can all find something to help us stay focused because as you all know, there is so much information out there. We're being pulled and tugged in so many different directions. And so because I'm very visual, I went for a hike and I had this 2-hour download. And a mandala was very clear to me. And we will be sharing that actually. And then you guys will be able to, I believe they'll be able to print it out and have that as a visual. But what it did was it allowed me to use that particular mandala and to show you how, no matter how far out we're pulled, you know, whether it's with the chaos or whether it's our learning and our growth, whatever it is, that there's always this light at the center that we can come back to and sort of reset. And so I will be discussing moving through the matrix and dimensions and timelines, but I'm going to be able to do it all within this particular mandala, like I said, which you will have to focus on. So yes, please come. I think this is very important information for all of you. And I'm very excited because when Janet and I were talking about it, we were on the same, as they say, wavelength with all of this.
Yeah.
So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday and Friday.
Thank you so much, Anne. I love you so much. And one of the things that I love about Anne is her wisdom. She is amazing and has some really incredible gifts. She is a channeler. She is a traveler of this universe. She has definitely learned the tools for how to tap into herself on a spirit level, a spiritual level. And when you learn how to tap into who you are and what you're made of and how you operate as a spiritual being, man, the universe becomes a very familiar place. And you start to see things with a broader perspective, a bigger perspective. You can see the forest for the trees. You can get out ahead of that wave, ride the wave, use it to your advantage. The chaos that you see, we kind of, rather than being in the midst of it all, in the middle of a massive earthquake, we can rise above all of this turbulence on the earth and the chaos on the earth and leverage it to number one, help other people, but number two, help to come to know ourselves in better ways. And number three, create a better world that is not manipulated and controlled by authorities, but that is built on the foundational principles of love and peace and sovereignty and spirituality and who we really are, and not who we've been conditioned to believe that we are. And so I appreciate the opportunity to get to work with Anne because I feel that she has some amazing tools that she can teach you to help you learn how to tap into that part of yourself so that you can get the bigger picture, so that you can see the forest for the trees. It's like hiking in the woods versus flying in an airplane. When you're hiking in the woods, all you see is what's in front of you on the path. When you're flying in an airplane, you see the whole bigger picture. And that, to me, is the one biggest thing that will help us, all of us, as we navigate through these times of turbulence and uncertainty on the earth. It's very clear that we live in a very unique time period on the earth. This is a time of transition. It's a time of turbulence. It's a time of chaos, but it's supposed to be. And we're going to teach you how you can make a great impact at the forefront of this great awakening. And that is going to be the purpose of our 2-day intensive workshop. I really hope that you guys come. I typed the link into the chat box of this class. The link, you can find it over on my Facebook profile in the comments section. I've posted it in every group that I manage. I posted it on my wall. Just go find it. The name of the class is, let me grab it so that I get it right. Pierce the Veil and Awaken the Soul. how you can make a great impact at the forefront of the Great Awakening. So if you click on that link that we just gave you here today, you can go register. The class is $97 for both of those days. What you're going to get if you join this 2-day workshop is you're going to get personal live access to us through a private Zoom link. These classes will go Thursday for an hour and a half and Friday for an hour and a half. We're going to give you hands-on instruction and tools, but we're also going to give you access through a members area. Once you purchase your tickets for the live event, you'll get a members area where you can log in anytime you want to and have access to the replays as many times as you want to go through the replays, so you don't have to take notes. And we're going to provide for you the handouts, the notes, the things that we reference. Plus, there's going to be a bunch of additional videos that I'm going to be giving you, only you guys, in that members area as a bonus that nobody else will have access to. So other learnings that there's just not time to give it to you. You'll have to take the time to digest those additional videos as bonus material after the class, but I think that they're really going to help you. I personally am going to be sharing with you guys the 8 steps. Actually, there's 9. I think there's 9. The 8 or 9 steps that will help you develop in you the tools that you need to stay at the forefront of this turbulent time that we live in, this time of transition, this time of chaos, this time of uncertainty. Rather than get swept up in the wave or pummeled by the wave or lost in it or carried away out to sea, I'm going to teach you how to stay at the forefront. I'm going to teach you the principles and the philosophies and the tools that you are going to absolutely need in order to navigate your way through this time. And I highly recommend that as you learn these things for yourself, that you also teach it to others, especially those that you feel are awake to these concepts. Some people are going to look at you like you have 2 heads when you start talking about these kinds of things. Trust me.
So, Janet, I just wanted to say that you took the words out of my mouth, because what I am passionate about is when I share these tools to help people grow individually and to expand their awareness, I feel that that means it's like I'm passing this baton, and now it's their turn to just pass it around when they're allowed to, to friends and family, and just keep spreading it. Because I always say this, that everyone who shows up, to listen to you every Tuesday, every week, for every program, they're all light workers. Everybody here are light workers.
They're amazing.
And you can interpret that however you choose, but you're all light workers. You're all here for a reason and a purpose. So I'm really excited to share all of these tools with you so that you too can just journey through this infinite universe and gather information to bring back to, as Janet described it, to the forest. Because we need to be in the forest. This is where we are here now, but we can travel way above in that airplane, and we can gather information that can help us on our journey, on our path.
Yeah. The more that I have been on this path for my own self, the path of spiritual awakening, I read a quote actually by Joseph Smith, who said, "Men who do not understand the character and nature of God do not comprehend themselves." And so, and I believe that goes both ways. As we come to know and comprehend the construct of the universe that we live in, the God who created it, as we come to know and understand that in better ways through these spiritual tools and gifts and abilities, we come to know and comprehend ourselves in greater ways. And gosh, there's nothing more valuable than that. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I love about you, Anne, is that you talk a lot about the matrix. You talk a lot about the connection of us as human souls, beings of light, and how we're all interconnected. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Whenever I have experiences, downloads, information. And by the way, I just want to share that at the center of everything for me, it's like my engine, my vehicle that moves me forward, whether I'm journeying here on earth or out there somewhere outside the matrix. And that is Christ consciousness. That is very, very dear to me, very important. And so I always go back to that center of Christ consciousness and check in, no matter what I'm doing. And when I do that, I know I'm on the right path. I'm always in alignment with the next steps forward. But in my own journey, just through meditation, journeying in and out of the matrix has taught me so much about who we are. And in that journey, I discovered that, call it the quantum field, we have many, many terms for all these things. But at that level, every single time I'm there, we are all one. And if you guys know Greg Braden, he said something that just resonated so much with me because he comes from that science background. And he said, we are not in the matrix. We are the matrix. Yeah. We are the energy field. And what to me, what he was saying is that we're all one. We're all connected. Yeah. And this is something I could talk for hours about because it's something so simple that causes our experiences to be so diverse and so different. And it's this. It's our thinking mind. It's just we shift our awareness and we can see all of us as separated, everything is separated, or we can shift our awareness and truly understand and grasp the idea of oneness and how powerful that is.
To me, you've talked about this too, and I had an epiphany the last time we visited. I wrote this down on the piece of paper after we got off the phone, but we were talking about the veil and piercing the veil, and then I realized the veil is our brain. It is it's our lack of belief. Mm-hmm. And if we can tweak the belief or tweak the mind just a little bit, in fact, drop out of the mind and drop into our infinite beings, right. There is no veil.
Yep. And that came through loud and clear for me a few years ago. And basically the download was, okay, this is your next book. There is no veil. Yeah. And then I thought, wow, how many people are going to look at me and go, what are you talking about?
You have two heads, right? Yeah. So, and for me, I had a vision about 3 or 4 years ago where I was, actually it happened in a dream, I believe, but in the dream, I saw the chaos and the destruction and the collapse of the world and every system. I saw it, and the dream went on for hours. I'll have to tell you guys about this dream sometime, and it would take me a long time to describe it, but the dream went on for about 6 hours. It came in 2-hour chunks. And so the first 2 hours was about war and collapse and calamity. The second 2 hours was about rescue, going into all the pockets where people were isolated and couldn't get out. And then the third 2 hours was about healing and reconciliation and recreation, restoration. And it was a beautiful experience. But in that collapse of all the systems and the chaos and the turbulence that's taking place during all of that, I just saw the fear of the world. And then after all of that came to a head, everything went dark. The whole earth went just completely dark. And then I saw one little light, and it represented one human being. And then I saw another little light, and it represented another human being, like little teeny candles coming on. And then I saw another one, and then another one. And lo and behold, they connected with one another. They got to know each other. There was a gathering of these little lights on the earth. And I saw that light connect from one to another. And then it connected again, and then down here, and it just formed this grid. So there was this little teeny grid of individual lights that were connected to one another through their knowingness of each other. And I saw a community be formed of these little lights. And then I saw another community and another community and another one, and until it filled the entire earth. These little lights started coming on and the communities started coming awake and connecting and joining. This is the gathering. This is the true gathering on the planet that we talk about in religion in the end times, right? And I saw the grid or the matrix that we sometimes refer to as the connecting points to heart, human to human, that formed this grid-like structure where we're all connected, heart to heart, intimately, divinely, through perfect, pure, non-limited, unconditional love. That is what is going to fill the earth and sweep every clime until it's covered the entirety of the earth. Powerful. Okay, let's go into a meditation right now. So I want us to be able to leverage this turbulent, uncertain time that we live in. I want you to think about the things that you see in your environment around you. We must learn to rise above it. And so one of the things that we're going to do today is a small meditation. We don't have a ton of time, but you can go back into the replay and watch this again and expand it for yourself. You can hit the pause button and take a little more time on it. But I want everybody to get centered. So we're going to start by focusing on your breath. Breathe in deeply, in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, drop your attention down out of your brain. Get out of your thoughts and go into your body. Drop down out of your mind. Drop down deep into your body. The deeper you breathe, the deeper you'll go. Use your breath to help you drop down. So just like if you plunged into a big giant body of water, but you could breathe in this water, and you sink down, 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 down to the ocean floor. And you can breathe and it feels light and it feels energizing and wonderful as you sink down into this big body of light water. I want you to take your awareness like you're sinking into the ocean and sink down into your body to the base of the spine. And when you get to the base, just rest on the ocean floor, resting on the pelvic floor, right where the perineum is, right at the base of the spine. Breathe in, breathe out. Use the breath deeply, but make the breath comfortable. On the exhale, with your awareness at the base of the spine, on the exhale, just let go. Let go of tension. Drop your shoulders. Drop your awareness. Let your awareness constantly just rest. Continually rest. Don't pop out of that place. Try to just maintain the resting on the pelvic floor at the base of the spine. You can also allow that awareness to dissolve down through your hips and your legs and under your feet, just anchoring into the entirety of your body. And as you bring that awareness in, you're just bringing your higher self all the way in from the crown of your head down through every cell, every bone, every tissue, every molecule is being infused with your unique light. So now we're going to go into a state of expansion from the base of the spine. Let's go ahead from the base of the spine and light up your center. The center starts above the crown of your head And it goes up and out into the universe, but it also goes down through your feet, in through the earth, and into the universe as well. I want you to think about the center of your body, that midline that goes through the perfect center of you, behind your face, through your throat, down through the center of you. From the base of the spine, I want that center to become a beautiful, brilliant, crystally column or pillar of light. Breathe in all the light. Breathe out all the gunk. And just allow that light to grow. Let your center shine. We're looking for the feeling of expansion. So let that light push out in front of you and take up more space. And behind you, and it takes up more space. And above and below, all the way around. So the inside of you becomes this perfect, proportionate, symmetrical center. And you shine just like the sun. You shine out into the universe, penetrating the darkness, just like the sun pierces the darkness. I want you to feel the feeling of your essence filling up the room that you're in with your own light. Breathing more deeply into your body. Keep a portion of your awareness at the base of the spine, but let your light continue to grow and grow until you notice. It's not contained by the house you're in. It's not contained by the state you live in or the city or geographical boundaries. It just goes out into the universe. That's the nature of light. Light travels infinitely. It doesn't ever stop. That's why you can see stars. So your light travels out into the infinite universe. And there are millions of tendrils of light coming from your center in a big, massive explosion, going out into the universal field, connecting with God's light. And I've said this before to you guys, you probably get sick of hearing it, but where does your light end and God's light begin? It doesn't, it integrates. It's like asking, where does the air in the kitchen end and the air in the living room begin? It doesn't, it integrates, it just is. Now, you, in your center, you are the light, but you are a unique, individual, divine expression of the light. There is no one else or nothing else in the universe that can shine the way that you do. Yes, we're connected to the light. We all are. But nobody shines the way that you shine. No one has your gifts. No one else has your talents, or at least the unique combination of them. No one else can bring to the world and the universe what you do. So it's vital that you shine. Now, in Boy Scouts, I want you to stay in this expanded state while I speak you through this exercise. In the Boy Scouts of America, we're taught to leave no trace. When you go on a hike or you go on a camp out, you put out the fires, you cover it up, you leave no stone not where you found it. You leave the area or the spot where you came and descended upon exactly as you found it. Well, I'm going to ask you to take this a step further and consider leaving the earth better than you found it. The world. How will you, as you shine your unique gifts and talents into the world and into the universal field, I call it the divine realm of the atonement. That some people call it the field, some people call it the quantum field. I call it the divine realm of the atonement. And if you understand what atonement means, you'll understand that divine realm of the atonement is the quantum field. How will you leave the earth a better place by having been here? So as you go into your center, I want you to just expand that light out and now wrap it around the world. Wrap your light. Well, it's your light, but it's also God's light and it's everybody else's light. So wrap that grid that we have formed as we've connected to one another, heart to heart, in this grid. Wrap that grid around the earth until the earth is just glowing with fire and with light. Keep breathing. You're going to need to stay connected to your center. Keep a portion of your awareness at the base of the spine. Always, don't ever leave that spot. But expanding out, wrap your light around the earth. I want you to notice a place on the planet that your mind gets drawn to, where your attention goes, where the earth is burdened by shackles and darkness and evil and toxicity and generational iniquity and bondage, strongholds of darkness and principalities of darkness. When I had that dream that went for 6 hours, the Lord took me into that dream and took me by the hand, and I went with him. And he asked me, "Do you trust me?" And I said, "Yes, I trust you." And he said, "I'm going to show you something, but I don't want you to cower in fear. I want you to look." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Do you trust me?" And I said, "Yes, I trust you." And he showed me 2 hours worth of what I just described to you, the bondage, toxicity, the evil, the war energy, strongholds of darkness, principalities of evil that covered the entire globe. And it was so horrific and so grossly, the ravages of war. I don't know if you've ever seen war movies, the blood and the horror on the earth. I witnessed it, 2 hours worth of it, until I was begging the Lord to take it from my view. And he said, "I need you to see it. Do you trust me?" And I said, "Yes, I trust you." He said, "I need you to see it." And so I witnessed it for 2 hours. And I said to him, "Lord, is there any place on the earth that is not covered in this darkness?" And he said, "Yeah. See that little spot out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean?" And he points to this tiny little spot the size of a pinhead. And he said, "That right there." And then he's like, "No, just kidding." The whole earth is covered in darkness at this time. And then I went into the other aspects of the dream. So I want you to notice, where is your attention being drawn to the most on the planet, and go there with your light. Is there an area, a city, a town, an underground, concealed place unknown to the world? Are there rooms behind closed doors where evil men conspire to steal and pillage and kill and rape humanity? Are there any places where your mind is drawn to? And I want you to go there, wrap it in light. We're going to protect ourselves with the light. And the way you protect yourself with the light is expand out from your center and wrap that place where your attention is being drawn, wrap it up in light. And the light is not just coming from you, it's coming from the grid. It's coming from God. It's coming from divine messengers from heaven. It's coming from your center. It's coming from your connection to other godly beings. Go to that place that your mind takes you. And as you as a being of light with your army of warriors, I want you to envelop it with light. We're going to take back these strongholds. We're going to take back the principalities. We're going to take back cities, establishments, properties. We're going to take back the healing of this planet with light. And you can stare the evil down in the face, eye to eye, and expose and reveal the darkness. Bring it into the light. Just bring it into the light, exposing and revealing. When you expose and reveal darkness, it then has no power. It's in the hidden and the concealment of darkness that it thinks it has power, but it really doesn't. So expose and reveal, using that grid, that matrix, using your light, using God's light to expose and reveal and heal. This is how we make a greater impact on the world at the forefront of the Great Awakening: to expose, to reveal, and to heal. So just illuminate the darkness, uncover, like lifting up the rocks and going, oh, I see what you're doing. And all the little dark things scurry and scatter because they know they have no power in the light. So expose, reveal, and heal. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to go deeper into this meditation where you expose, reveal, and heal. You can touch the earth, you can heal the earth, you can bless the earth, you can bless the situation, you can expose darkness, reveal and heal. Have it unfold exactly the way that it does in your mind's eye. You may want to jot down notes. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to bring that to a close. I want you to be thinking about, if you're willing to share, wow, we would love to hear what your experience was, where you went. I'll go first, but be thinking about your experience with covering the earth in light and taking back the strongholds, the principalities, the areas, the regions, and infusing them with light, shining light onto the darkness. So one thing I saw when I went in, as I was centered and connected to that grid, I saw millions of us, beings who intend to be in the light, connected hand to hand. We were holding hands, but our hearts were connected as well. And I think that heart energy was connected through the hands. So we were all holding hands. We were all forming this grid, this network of beings who walk in the highest light of the Lord. I saw that forming a grid that covered the earth. Our individual lights that we hold within ourselves were bright and beautiful, but as they connected interdependently with one another, it formed a greater, more infinitely powerful light. I was told to focus on the light. I saw big, dark, luminous clouds overhead over the earth. I saw the minds and hearts of evil, conspiring men who wanted to create a firestorm or a chaotic storm on the planet. They thought they were really progressing in their works of darkness, but lo and behold, we were told not to focus on that. We were told not to look. Don't look at the darkness. Don't look at the dark clouds looming. Don't look at the destruction and the chaos. Look at the light within. Connect to those that share that same light. And as we did that, the dark shadows began to fall away. I didn't see one particular place on the earth. I saw the whole earth. But I also saw us as we were connected with one another through the bonds of love unconditionally. I saw each and every one of us as sovereign, autonomous beings standing in our own sovereignty, in our own independence. But as we linked arms and linked hands, connecting through interdependence. That's what I saw. And I can see how the healing of this world and the healing of this planet can come about through small and simple means. That we can create this definitely in spirit before it ever manifests in the physical form. Okay, Shauna says, I didn't cover the earth. Yeah, that's fine. I thought for sure everybody would have their own unique experience. I found myself in the middle of the darkness and pushing the light all the way out, bursting the matrix, popping the darkness like a pimple. Cell towers, Salt Lake City, center of the earth. I started to feel nervous about being recognized, but was reassured that the light was too bright and that they couldn't see me for the brightness. Yes. Yeah, I saw that too. Great connection with God, so healing for me and for all of us. Yeah, this is how we do this great work. This is how we do it. We band together. You can do it in spirit. You can do it under the direction of the divine ones, of Jehovah, of the mind and will of Christ, however works best for you. If you want to be guided through that experience by the ones that you trust, if that's Christ or whatever beings walk in the highest light of God, then you're welcome to invite them into your experience and let them be the guides. Anybody else want to share? You're welcome to type it into the chat or go ahead and unmute your mic and your camera and just share. Anybody else have any kind of profound healing experience? Go ahead, Anne.
I think Katie also shared something.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me share that first, and then I'll have you share yours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Katie says, I felt each of us here on this live we are connected, not only God and Jesus Christ. I felt Heavenly Mother was with each of us, helping those who are needing to see the light that we see. We are all helping each other, and those who need to feel what we need to hear. I even felt so much love and gratitude through this process. Yes, me too. One thing that I noticed as we were all connected interdependently with one another, like we were independent beings, but not leaning in or codependent or in a needy way to each other. We were just standing independently, holding hands interdependently. But as we walked on the earth, I could see that even the light from our shoes, the shoes on our feet, was leaving light prints all over the earth. As we traversed the earth, it was leaving a footprint of light, taking back principalities that had once been overtaken by the evil, the darkness.
As you were talking about that, I was just thinking, I'm very visual, as you know, and I was thinking about how each of us has a certain amount of voltage, if you will, that light, that voltage, that energy within us. And so there's so much that we can do with that voltage, with that energy, and with that light. But then you add all the other voltages and lights together, and it overpowers everything else. And that's kind of all I wanted to share. It was a beautiful guidance, but I used to spend years ago. I would spend my time, just zoning in on what's wrong, what they're doing, what's wrong out there. The darkness, which we know exists, the shadow exists. But then all of a sudden, one day in a meditation, I decided, you know what? I'm going to just start from the light and focus on the light, because whatever I focus my mind on becomes more powerful. Mm-hmm. So I start with the light, and that, like someone said, pushes away the shadows and the darkness. So you don't have to necessarily put all of your energy on the shadow or the darkness. So someone, I believe, also shared that, which was powerful.
Oh, thank you. And that's a beautiful visual. And I do love how visual you are. It really helps me to understand it or comprehend it a little bit better, because this is so abstract. Heidi says, I saw the darkest places on the earth, but felt I needed to start where my loved ones are, fill their area with light, then expand out to cover the earth.
Beautiful.
Perfect. That is beautiful. Does anybody else want to share what their experience was? Go ahead, Pammy.
Well, it was really interesting to me. I did feel the light and the connection as a whole, and it did expand, but I kept it to my city here because I happen to know of spots here that are underground workings, but I'm the only one. It's not like I can go out and just shout it in. But so as you guided us to go to different places, I went to each one of them. A shop that's doing some magic, underground stuff, the schools, the hospital, they're all contained, and I know things that go on underneath. So I went to each one of them, even houses, and allowed for that spirit. But I also asked for dark portals to be open and exposed, and for the light to come in. And I asked that people would be prepared to accept the captives as they're released.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's a divinely healing experience. Isn't it interesting how we're all experiencing this in such unique ways, in the ways that we need to? We're being guided and directed in the ways that we can be the most effective. Is there anybody else that has an interest in sharing? This was a powerful experience, and I highly recommend that you do it often. This is the epitome. I mean, this is prayer to the next level. You know, as we pray over the earth, as we gather together and band together as beings who choose light over darkness, choose to operate in the fullness of light, of God's light, bringing balance to the darkness and to the light and restoring that balance. We're all going to experience it in the way that is unique to us and in the way that we can be the most effective. But look at the powerful impacts that we can have as we take back and reclaim old strongholds, places that have been cursed by the darkness. We can expose and reveal and heal. And we can do that work spiritually. I think it is the way that we do that work. Many people say to me, I hear this all the time, because so many people in the religious community are looking for a Christ to return, a savior, a Messiah to return. And I find it interesting, if you study Holy Writ and read the New Testament, where Jesus Christ, the Messiah that the Jews were looking for, did come. He did come to the earth. They were all waiting for him. They thought he was going to be something else because they weren't prepared for the way that he did come. And so as a result of that, he walked in their presence. He stood in their presence. He was right in front of their faces, and they missed it. The same thing is happening here on the planet now. For all these millennia, we've been preparing and waiting for a second coming of Jesus Christ. And look what we're doing. We're missing it. Again, we're expecting him to come out of the clouds on this big portal of light and stand in front of us and whatever. I mean, we've got all of these church videos out that depict the second coming as being this big grandiose experience that we're all waiting for the heavens to open up and we're going to have this majestic. No, Christ is going to come as a thief in the night to those who are prepared to receive him, to those who know him, to those who have already been communing with, meditating with him in private, personally, intimately, getting to know all of the many little nuances intimately, building that relationship with him spiritually. Then he will reveal himself in the fullness of his glory. But he is coming to you. He is coming to me. The second coming has already begun. There is nothing to wait for. There is only step in and have the experience of knowing him. I watched a video put out by my church this past weekend of depicting the second coming of Jesus. And as I was watching him come down out of the clouds and stand in front of the temple, wearing these clean pressed white linen robes, I was thinking to myself, that's weird, because that's not how he shows himself to me. Like, there were all of these little nuances that I was like, Lord, why are they depicting you that way when that's not how you show yourself to me? And he said to me, it's because they don't know me. Those who know me will see me as I am and be seen as they are by me. Those who don't know me are going to see the version, they're going to show the version that they want to be shown. But really, in many ways, that's not the true Christ. The true Christ can only be known by you having an intimate experience with the true Christ, because then that's where you're going to get to know the nuances of how he shows himself to you. It's going to be different for everybody. How does he show himself to you? How does he manifest himself to you? How does he speak to you? What does he say? had an experience about 3 years ago where I was in a meditation in communion with Christ. We were talking back and forth, and then he said something that seemed a little odd to me, very off-putting. It sounded very condescending and a little bit narcissistic. And I was like, something's off. That's not how you talk to me. That's not how you normally talk to me. What is going on? And in the moment that I asked that question, the vision of him morphed and changed and shape-shifted into this darker being that was trying to pose or appear to be a Jesus Christ that I knew was not. And it was only in the recognition of the small little nuances of, that's not how you speak, that's not what you wear, that's not what you do, right? That's how we're going to be able to discern what's being projected. And isn't it interesting that we have these, in many ways, hypocrites, the drunkards of Ephraim are trying to project to the people what they think Christ is, how he shows himself, how he appears, maybe isn't even the reality at all. So I beg you to discern. I beg you to look deep at your own relationship personally that you have with the Lord. How does he speak? How does he show himself? How does he appear? What are the things he does and says and the mannerisms? Learn the nuances that are so subtle, because you're going to need to know how to discern. There will be many on this planet who will try to deceive and depict a second coming that isn't real. And you're going to need to know what is real and how he shows himself as real. And it's going to be, I think it's upsetting to think that people in our church culture could deceive us or lead us astray or give us the wrong notion or the wrong idea. Lots of people are talking about Christ. Very few of them are talking to him. You can't know Christ just simply by learning about him. You can't know Christ just simply by reading talks and articles by people who are talking about Christ. You can only know Christ one way. I don't know why I got off onto this tangent. Okay, here we go. I'm missing a couple.
I just want to share, I saw Shauna post. He makes me laugh, and that's what I was going to share too. And I feel that whatever our filters are, however we function in our lives, that's how Christ will show himself. So because I have a warped sense of humor, he'll ride in my car with me and we'll laugh and talk and carry on. And when I ask the same questions, why do they depict you like that? Why do they show you like that? And we will both just have a great laugh about it,
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to touch quickly on discernment because you brought that up. I feel that when all of us continue to expand our awareness, to open our hearts and our souls and keep connecting, have a practice on a daily basis, that in itself will allow you to quickly discern what's right and what's wrong. That will just come so much easier because you will know, because you have expanded your awareness beyond, this 3D level. So, just
I love it. I love that you shared that. Thank you. And it made me realize that he really does meet you where you are.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to show up to you almost as a reflection of you. And that's why your relationship with the divine is always going to be so intimate and so personal to you. It's so that you yourself will be able to discern beyond a shadow of a doubt, because Christ shows himself to you in the way that you want to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He meets you where you are. And that's why the depictions are going to be different, but you're going to be able to discern and go, that's not, something's off about that, or something's not right there. And that is how slight the deception will be. It will be only in the slightest little nuances that you'll be able to discern whether or not it's a real apparition or whether it's a real encounter.
Yeah, I love what Heidi just said too.
Yes. Did I miss it? Just as we share different parts of ourselves to others, Christ shares parts of himself to us. Those that love us the most and accept us for who we truly are, we can share all of us. Same for Christ. Yes, I believe that. You can't have, when you have an intimate relationship with someone such as a spouse or a child or someone very close to you, and you know where their birthmarks are, you know how they laugh, you know the jokes that they laugh at, you know the little subtle nuances of how they are when they're with you. And even when they're not with you, but you know those little subtleties of the person. That is the intimate level that we need to develop with those whom we call the gods and goddesses of our universe, especially the Christ. We need to know him that personally, that deeply, that intimately, in the way that we know our loved ones. And so that, when you're with your loved ones, especially your children, you can look at them and go, this isn't normally like you. What's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for being here. We kept you a little bit longer than the top of the hour, but I felt like this was a great tangent that we got off on at the end. Thank you for creating together as a unit and as a whole this wonderful experience of helping to heal the planet and helping to be put ourselves out there at the forefront of this great awakening. If you would like to learn to develop these daily practices, to develop deeper tools for self-awareness and for traveling and journeying through this wonderful matrix of divine light, I invite you, highly encourage you. We need to learn this and teach it to each other. Invite you to participate in our upcoming workshop that Anne and I are putting on. If you want more information, reach out to me through Facebook and I'll give you the links, or you can just go to my Facebook wall or Anne's Facebook wall. We've been posting about this workshop coming up. I will be posting more about it today and tomorrow on the heels, or just kind of on the forefront of this 2-day workshop. Don't forget to invite your friends and loved ones if you feel like they would also benefit from a workshop such as this. And it's $97. I think a very highly reasonable price for a 2-day intensive. And then plus you get the replay, you get all of that in a members area where you can access it till the end of time. So
And if I didn't say it earlier, Janet, this is the first time I'm going to do a giveaway of the gift of having the mandala, which I think once everyone sees it, it'll be a great thing to have to just keep coming back to center when you're being pulled in so many directions. So I'd love to give that as a gift.
Thank you for that. And one of the things that I love about this mandala that you're going to be sharing, because when I downloaded it so that I can share it into the members area with everybody. And as I looked at it, I was like, boom, like I just immediately went to center and expanded out. And I didn't have to go through a meditation. I didn't have to, it just took me there immediately. And I'm going to print it. I need to go print it in a high resolution printer somewhere and put it on my wall so that I can just use it to take me there instantly. So I appreciate you being willing to share that. I can't wait to share it with the rest of you. If you haven't gotten registered yet, click on the link that I shared in the comments or go to my Facebook wall or reach out in private, whatever you want to do. And we'd be happy to share with you how you can get your tickets and get the Zoom links for this upcoming workshop. Everybody have a blessed rest of your day. Take care. And we want you to know that we love you all, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah.